A chance encounter. The pulsating neon lights of the Nixel space station's entertainment district painted the night in vibrant hues, illuminating the throngs of beings from across the galaxy. Astral, a captivating alien girl with shimmering emerald skin and flowing white hair, stumbled out of the Nebula nightclub, her senses still swirling from one too many cosmic flares. The intoxicating mix of exotic drinks had her head spinning, but a thrill of adventure coursed through her veins. As she smoothed down her form-fitting dress, she noticed how the shimmering fabric clung to her curves, drawing attention from the bustling crowd. Astral raised her hand to flag down a passing taxi, a sleek silver hovercar that glided to a halt beside her with a soft hum. The tinted window lowered, revealing the striking features of the driver, a handsome human male with steel blue eyes and tousled blonde hair. His chiseled jawline was dusted with dark stubble, adding a rugged charm to his striking appearance. A grin broke across his face as their eyes met. "Where to, miss?" he asked, his deep voice sending a shiver of excitement down Astral's spine. "Sector Epsilon, please," she replied, slipping into the front seat beside him, her heart racing with anticipation. "And take this scenic route, handsome." The driver chuckled, merging into the station's bustling skylane traffic. "The name's Allah, by the way, and you must be quite the night owl to be out this late." Astral leaned closer, her violet eyes sparkling with mischief. "Wouldn't you like to know?" she purred, a playful smile bracing her lips. She rummaged through her small crystalline purse, but her expression quickly shifted to one of disappointment. "Damn, I must have left my cred chip at the club." Allah raised an eyebrow, glancing at her briefly before returning his gaze to the sky lane. "That's unfortunate. I guess I'll have to take you back to get it." Astral's eyes twinkled with mischief as she placed her hand on his thigh, slowly sliding it upward. "Or we could work out another form of payment, something a little more intimate." Allah's grip tightened on the steering wheel, his breath hitching as her fingers danced dangerously close to his groin. "Listen, miss, you're drunk. I'd rather just take you home." "Come on, live a little," Astral teased, her lips grazing his ear. "When's the last time you had a real adventure?" Allah swallowed hard, his resolve wavering. There was something intoxicating about her, a dangerous allure he couldn't ignore. She was trouble, but she was the best kind of trouble. "You're a handful, you know that." The hovercar glided through the glittering spires of the space station, and Allah found himself stealing glances at the tempting vixen beside him. Every calculated move she made was a seductive invitation. From the way she crossed and uncrossed her long, toned legs to the soft sighs that escaped her full, pouty lips, he was captivated. "So, tell me, Allah," she purred, twirling a lock of her hair around her finger. "What's a handsome human like you doing driving a cab in this part of the galaxy?" Allah chuckled, trying to keep his focus on the road. "Just trying to make an honest living, I suppose. It's not always easy out here." "I'll bet." Astral smirked, her gaze raking over his muscular form. "With a body like that, I'm surprised you're not a model or a Vidar." Allah felt his cheeks flush at the compliment. "Nah, I prefer to stay out of the spotlight. Besides, I meet much more interesting people this way." "Is that so?" Astral leaned in closer, her breath warm against his arm. "And what do you find so interesting about me?" Before he could answer, the taxi glided to a stop outside a towering residential complex. Astral pouted, giving his thigh a gentle squeeze. "Are you sure you don't want to come up for a nightcap? I promise I'll make it worth your while." Allah's heart raced, but he gently removed her hand. "I appreciate the offer, but I think it's best if we call it a night." With a sigh, Astral leaned in and placed a soft kiss on his cheek, slipping a small card into his pocket. "In case you change your mind, handsome." She sauntered out of the taxi, her hips swaying hypnotically as she disappeared into the building. As Allah pulled away from the curb, he let out a shaky breath, his mind reeling from the encounter. The enchanting Relixen had left a mark on him, and he couldn't shake the feeling that this wouldn't be the last he saw of her. Lying in his modest apartment that night, Allah stared at the ceiling, his thoughts drifting back to Astral. Every detail of her was etched into his memory, her alluring smile, her melodic laugh, and how her emerald skin seemed to glow under the streetlights. He fished the card out from his pocket and examined it closely. Astral, he whispered, tracing his finger over the holographic letters that shimmered in the dim light. Beneath her name was a calm link number and a playful message for a good time call. Allah hesitated, his thumb hovering over the call button. What was he doing? She was just a drunk, flirtatious passenger. But there was something about her, a magnetic pull he couldn't resist. Before he could talk himself out of it, he pressed the button and held the comm link to his ear. It rang once, twice, then a sultry voice answered, "I was wondering when you call, handsome." Allah's heart skipped a beat. "Astral, hey, I just wanted to make sure you got home okay." She laughed, a sound that sent shivers down his spine. "Oh, I'm more than okay, Allah. In fact, I'm feeling a little lonely. Care to join me for a drink?" He swallowed hard, his mouth suddenly dry. "I don't know, Astral. It's late, and I have work tomorrow." "Come on, live a little," she purred. "I promise I won't keep you out too late. Meet me at the Stardust Lounge in an hour and wear something nice." Before he could respond, she ended the call, leaving him staring at the comm link in disbelief. What had he gotten himself into? An hour later, Allah found himself walking into the Stardust Lounge, a swanky bar with a retro-futuristic vibe. Neon lights pulsed in time with the jazzy music, and holographic constellations swirled on the ceiling. He tugged at the collar of his black button-down shirt, feeling out of place among the well-dressed patrons. "There you are, handsome," Astral's voice cut through the chatter. He turned to see her sauntering toward him in a form-fitting red dress that left little to the imagination. Her white hair was styled in loose waves, and her violet eyes sparkled with mischief. "Astral, wow, you look incredible," Allah stammered, his eyes drinking in her curves. She smirked, trailing a finger down his chest. "You clean up nicely yourself, Allah. Come on, I've got a table waiting." As they slid into a secluded booth where a bottle of shimmering liquor and 2 glasses awaited them, Allah felt a rush of excitement and apprehension. This night was shaping up to be unlike any other. With the evening unfolding, the thrill of possibility hung in the air, and Allah couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter was just the beginning of something extraordinary. The stars outside twinkled like 1,000 tiny promises, hinting at adventures yet to come. A night to remember. The Stardust Lounge buzzed with energy as cosmic rhythms blended with laughter and chatter, creating a vibrant tapestry of sound. Allah felt a mixture of excitement and nerves as he and Astral settled into their booth. The shimmering bottle of liquor caught the light, casting colorful reflections on their faces. Astral poured 2 glasses, her movements fluid and graceful, like a dancer gliding across a stage. "Here's to new adventures," she said, raising her glass with a bright smile. Allah clinked his glass against hers, the sound ringing out above the din of the lounge. "To new adventures," he echoed, taking a sip of the glowing liquid. The taste was exotic and exhilarating, igniting his senses. As the warmth spread through him, he felt more at ease, ready to embrace the unexpected twists of the night. "What brings you to a place like this?" Astral asked, leaning back against the plush booth, her violet eyes locking onto his. "I can't imagine a dashing human cab driver spending his nights behind the wheel." Allah chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. "Honestly, I was just trying to make ends meet. It's not always easy on Earth, but nights like this remind me why I love driving. You never know who you'll meet." Astral's gaze softened, a glimmer of understanding passing between them. Life can be quite unpredictable, can't it? But that's what makes it beautiful. We never know what's around the corner. She took a sip of her drink, her expression thoughtful. "True," Allah replied, leaning in. "But sometimes I wonder if I'm missing out on more exciting things." She arched an eyebrow, her smile playful. "Well, tonight is your chance to change that. You're with me now, and I promise you're in for a wild ride." Her words dripped with allure, igniting a spark of adventure in his heart. As the night wore on, the conversation flowed effortlessly between them, weaving tales of their lives. Astral shared her experiences traveling across galaxies, recounting encounters with alien cultures and the vibrant worlds she had explored. She painted vivid pictures with her words, her passion spilling forth like a cosmic fountain. I once visited a planet where the oceans are made of liquid crystal, she said, her eyes shining with excitement. The waves sparkle like diamonds under the sun. It felt like stepping into a dream. Alla listened, entranced. That sounds incredible. I've never been off Earth. I've always wanted to travel but never had the opportunity. Astral leaned closer, her expression conspiratorial. Then let me take you on an adventure. I could show you worlds beyond your wildest imagination. Just think about it, a journey through the stars, discovering hidden wonders together. The idea sent a thrill through Alla. You make it sound so tempting. I'd love that, Astral. Suddenly, a commotion erupted nearby. A large, imposing figure with yellow eyes and a menacing grin strode toward their booth. Dax, Astral's ex, had arrived. What the hell are you doing here with this human scum? He growled, his voice dripping with disdain. The tension in the air shifted, and Alla instinctively leaned closer to Astral, ready to defend her. Astral rolled her eyes, clearly unimpressed by his presence. Dax, please, this is my evening, and I don't need your drama ruining it. Meet Alla, the guy who's currently holding my interest. Dax's gaze flicked between them, his eyes narrowing as he sized Alla up. You think you can impress her, human? You're out of your league. Alla squared his shoulders, meeting Dax's glare with confidence. She doesn't need anyone to impress her. She can make her own choices. Astral smiled, pride evident in her expression. That's right, Alla. I appreciate the support. Dax laughed, a harsh, mocking sound. How about we settle this with a little wager then? A race around the outer ring of the station. Winner gets to keep Astral for the night. Alla's heart raced, but Astral's eyes sparkled with mischief. Oh, I like that idea, she said, her voice teasing. Alla, do you think you can handle it? What? Alla stammered, his mind racing. I'm just a cab driver. I've never raced anyone before. Trust me, she urged, placing a hand on his arm. You're better than you think. You've got the instincts, and I'll guide you through it. Dax doesn't stand a chance. Fine, Alla finally replied, adrenaline pumping through his veins. Let's do it. As they stepped outside into the cool night air, the crowd's excitement buzzed around them. A few spectators gathered, eager to see the showdown. Dax led them to the starting line, his sleek black hovercar gleaming under the lights. It looked like a predator ready to pounce, and Alla felt the weight of the challenge ahead. He glanced at his own hovercar, a modest vehicle that had seen better days. I can't believe I'm doing this, he muttered under his breath. You've got this, Astral reassured him, her hand warm on his shoulder. Just listen to me and we'll win. As the crowd counted down, Alla gripped the steering wheel tightly, his heart pounding in his chest. Racers, on your mark. Get set. Go. The flag dropped, and they shot forward. Dax surged ahead, his superior machine giving him an early lead. But Alla focused on Astral's voice, guiding him through the twists and turns of the course. Left, right, accelerate. Alla felt the rush of adrenaline as they navigated the course, the city lights blurring around them. You're doing great. Astral encouraged, her excitement infectious. With each turn, Alla's confidence grew. He found his rhythm, pushing the hovercar to its limits. Dax's taunts faded into the background, replaced by the thrill of the race. They were neck and neck now, the finish line in sight. Punch it, Astral shouted, her voice electrifying his resolve. Alla pressed the accelerator, and the hovercar surged forward. They crossed the finish line, mere inches ahead of Dax. The crowd erupted into cheers, and Astral threw her arms around Alla's neck, elation radiating from her. You did it. I knew you could. She planted a passionate kiss on his lips, leaving him breathless. As they celebrated their victory, Dax stalked away, fury etched on his face. Astral turned to Allah, her eyes sparkling. "Looks like you're stuck with me now, handsome." Allah chuckled, still in disbelief at the turn of events. "I think I can live with that." As they made their way back to the Stardust Lounge, the atmosphere buzzed with energy and anticipation. The night was still young, and a new chapter in their story was just beginning. Seated once more at their booth, they poured another round, laughter and playful banter filling the space between them. In that moment, surrounded by the vibrancy of the lounge, Allah realized this was more than just a fleeting encounter. It was the start of an adventure he had always dreamed of. Astral was a whirlwind of excitement, and he was ready to dive into the unknown, wherever it might lead them. Racing hearts and hidden secrets. The glow of the Stardust Lounge flickered like a distant star as Allah and Astral settled back into their booth, the air thick with the excitement of their recent victory. The neon lights pulsed in time with the music, casting playful shadows that danced across the table. Allah was still trying to process the exhilarating race that had just taken place, and the taste of Astral's kiss lingered on his lips like a sweet, intoxicating elixir. Astral poured them each another glass, the shimmering liquid swirling in the dim light. "To us," she toasted, raising her glass with a radiant smile. "And to new beginnings." "To new beginnings," Allah echoed, clinking his glass against hers before taking a hearty sip. The warmth of the drink flowed through him, and he couldn't help but feel grateful for this unexpected turn of events. A night that had begun with a casual taxi ride had transformed into an extraordinary adventure. As they settled into their drinks, the playful banter resumed, and Astral leaned in closer, her violet eyes sparkling with mischief. "So, tell me more about this Earth of yours. What's it like to live there?" Allah chuckled, intrigued by her curiosity. "It's a mixed bag, really. Beautiful landscapes, diverse cultures, but it can be pretty chaotic. A lot of people are caught up in their routines, missing out on the magic around them." Astral nodded, her expression thoughtful. "It's similar in some ways across the galaxies. Some planets are vibrant and full of life, while others are bleak and forgotten. But the best experiences often come from stepping outside of the ordinary." "Sounds like you've had your fair share of adventures," Allah replied, leaning forward. "What's the craziest thing you've ever done?" Her laughter rang out like music, drawing the attention of a few nearby patrons. "Oh, where do I even start? There was this one time on Vexen Prime when I decided to join a group of thrill-seekers in a zero-gravity bungee jump. I thought it would be exhilarating, but instead, I ended up tangled in a web of ropes and floating helplessly while everyone else cheered." Allah burst into laughter, picturing the scene. "That sounds like something out of a comedy holo." "Exactly, but it taught me a valuable lesson about trusting my instincts," she replied, her tone turning more serious. "Sometimes you have to let go of your fears and embrace the chaos. That's where the real adventures begin." Her words resonated deeply with Allah. He had spent so much time playing it safe, often wondering what lay beyond the confines of his predictable life. "You're right. I've been thinking a lot about that lately. I want to break out of my routine, but it's scary." Astral reached across the table, her hand brushing against his. "You've already taken the first step, Allah. Racing Dax was a huge leap. You showed courage, and that's what makes life worth living." He felt a warmth spread through him at her touch, the electric connection between them undeniable. "Thanks, Astral. You make it easy to want to take those leaps." Just then, a familiar face approached their table, a cocky smirk plastered across his features. It was Dax, seething with barely contained anger. "Congratulations on your little race, human," he sneered, crossing his arms over his broad chest. "But don't think for a second that this is over." Allah met his glare with steady resolve. "What do you want, Dax? We've already won." Astral tilted her head, her voice calm but firm. "Dax, why are you here? Can't you see we're trying to enjoy our night?" He leaned closer, invading their space. You think you can just waltz in here and take what's mine. Astral doesn't belong with a human. Astral's eyes narrowed, her expression fierce. I'm not a possession, Dax. I make my own choices, and right now, I choose to be here with Allah. Dax scoffed, clearly agitated. You're making a mistake, Astral. You don't know what you're getting into. Maybe I do, she shot back, her voice rising slightly. You've shown your true colors, Dax. You're just jealous because you lost. Allah watched the exchange, his heart pounding in his chest. He could feel the tension radiating off Dax, and he sensed the anger simmering beneath the surface. This isn't the place for a fight, Allah interjected, trying to defuse the situation. Why did you just walk away? Dax's lips curled into a sinister grin. You're going to regret this, human. I'll make sure of it. With a final glare, he turned and stormed away, leaving a heavy silence in his wake. Allah let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. Is he always like that? He asked, glancing at Astral, who seemed unshaken by the confrontation. More or less, she replied, shaking her head as if to dismiss the encounter. Dax has a hard time accepting rejection. He's used to getting what he wants, but I'm done with his games. Good for you, Allah said, impressed by her strength. You deserve someone who respects you. Astral smiled, her gaze softening as she looked at him. And I think I might have found him. Just then, a burst of laughter erupted from a nearby group of patrons, breaking the tension in the air. Astral's eyes sparkled with mischief again. How about we dance? Let's show this place how to have a real good time. Allah hesitated for a moment, but the playful challenge in her voice was irresistible. All right, let's do it, he replied, allowing her to lead him onto the dance floor. As they stepped into the rhythm of the music, Allah felt an exhilarating rush. The lights swirled around them, casting colorful shadows as they moved together, lost in the moment. Astral's movements were fluid and captivating, her laughter infectious. She twirled and spun, her emerald skin glistening under the lights. See, this is what it's all about, she exclaimed, her eyes alight with joy. Forget everything else but tonight, just feel the music. Allah surrendered to the moment, allowing a rhythm to take over. They danced closely, their bodies swaying to the beat, the world around them fading away. The energy between them was electric, a magnetic pull that drew them closer with every beat. As the night wore on, they continued to dance, sharing stories and laughter amid the vibrant atmosphere. Allah felt a connection growing between them, deeper than he could have ever anticipated. It was more than just a fleeting romance. It felt like a bond forged in the fires of adventure and spontaneity. Eventually, they returned to their booth, breathless and exhilarated. Allah glanced at the clock, surprised at how much time had passed. I can't believe how quickly the night has flown by, he said, taking a moment to catch his breath. Astral smiled, her cheeks flushed with excitement. Time flies when you're having fun. This has been one of the best nights of my life. Mine too, Allah replied sincerely, feeling a warmth spread through his chest. I never expected to have this kind of night when I woke up today. Just then, the bartender approached, a sleek grin on his face. Looks like you two are the stars of the show tonight. Care for another round? Allah, what do you think? Astral asked, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Why not? Let's keep the party going, he replied, raising his glass in agreement. As they poured another round, Astral leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. You know, Allah, I have a secret I haven't shared with you yet. Intrigued, he leaned in, eager to hear more. What is it? She hesitated for a moment, her playful demeanor shifting slightly. I've been traveling the galaxy not just for fun. I'm on a mission to find something very important, an ancient artifact that could change the fate of our worlds. Allah's curiosity piqued. What kind of artifact? Astral took a deep breath, her expression turning serious. It's a relic from an ancient civilization, said to hold unimaginable power. It can bend the very fabric of reality. Many factions are seeking it for their own gain, and I'm trying to keep it from falling into the wrong hands. His heart raced at the revelation. Wow, that sounds dangerous. Are you sure you're safe doing this alone? She smiled, appreciation shining in her eyes. That's why I need a partner, someone I can trust. I believe you have what it takes to help me, Allah. You showed bravery tonight, and I sense there's more to you than meets the eye. Allah felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. I've never been part of something like this before. What if I fail? Then we'll figure it out together, she said, her voice steady and reassuring. You're more capable than you realize. And besides, I wouldn't want anyone else by my side. He met her gaze, feeling the weight of her words. The prospect of adventure thrilled him, but he also knew it came with risks. All right, I'm in. Let's do this together. Astral beamed, her earlier playful demeanor returning. I knew you'd say yes. We'll have the best adventure yet. As the night unfolded, Allah felt a shift in his life's trajectory. What had begun as a chance encounter had evolved into an exhilarating partnership. Together, they would navigate the challenges ahead, exploring the galaxy and discovering the secrets that lay hidden among the stars. The thrill of the unknown awaited them, and with Astral by his side, Allah knew he was ready to embrace whatever came next. The call to adventure. The soft hum of the Stardust Lounge began to fade as Allah and Astral stepped outside into the cool night air. The space station buzzed with life around them, but the atmosphere felt electric, charged with the promise of adventure that lay ahead. Stars twinkled overhead like scattered diamonds, casting a celestial glow on the streets below. Where do we start? Allah asked, a mix of excitement and uncertainty fluttering in his chest. He glanced at Astral, whose eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. Astral grinned, her vibrant hair catching the light as she tilted her head. We need to gather some intel on the artifact. I have a few contacts in the sector who might know more about its location. If we can find a lead, we'll be one step closer to retrieving it. Contacts? Like spies or something? Allah asked, raising an eyebrow. Something like that, she replied with a playful wink. They're trustworthy enough, but you should be prepared for anything. The galaxy can be a dangerous place, especially when you're after something as powerful as the relic. Allah's heart raced at the thought. He was used to driving through the same city streets every day, not running around chasing ancient artifacts. Okay, so where do we find these contacts? Follow me. Astral took his hand, and together they made their way through the vibrant streets of the Nixel space station. The neon lights illuminated their path, guiding them toward an underbelly of the station that few dared to explore. As they turned a corner, they entered a dimly lit alleyway that led to a hidden entrance marked by a flickering neon sign that read The Celestial Den. A low hum of music seeped through the walls, accompanied by laughter and the clinking of glasses. This is one of my favorite places, Astral said, her voice low and conspiratorial. It's a haven for those in the know. Just be careful. Many patrons here have their own agendas. Allah nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and trepidation. He followed Astral through the entrance, and his senses were instantly bombarded by the lively atmosphere. The air was thick with the scent of exotic spices, mingling with the rich aroma of various alien cuisines. The room was filled with beings of all shapes and sizes, aliens mingling, exchanging stories and rumors. Holographic displays flickered above them, showcasing games of chance and skill that captivated the crowd. Over there, Astral said, nodding toward a corner booth where a scruffy-looking alien with vibrant blue skin sat, sipping from a glowing drink. That's Zarnak. He knows more about the artifact than anyone else I know. As they approached, Allah couldn't help but feel a bit anxious. The alien's sharp features and piercing eyes scrutinized them as they approached. Astral, back from your travels, I see, Zarnak said, a smirk spreading across his face. And with a human in tow, this is new. What's the occasion? Astral slid into the booth across from him, pulling Allah along. We need information, Zarnak. About the ancient artifact. What do you know? Zarnak leaned back, his expression shifting to one of mock contemplation. Information doesn't come cheap, my dear. What's in it for me? Astral's eyes narrowed, and she leaned closer, her tone serious. You know I can get you what you want. This isn't a game. Lives are at stake. Zarnak raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Lives, you say? This must be quite a valuable relic. If it truly holds power, many will come looking for it. You'd do well to tread carefully. Allah watched the exchange, feeling the weight of Zarnak's words. We understand the risks. We just need to know where it is, he interjected, trying to keep the conversation focused. Zarnak studied him for a moment, then leaned in closer. Very well, human. The artifact is said to be hidden on a planet called Eldoria, a place shrouded in legends. However, it's not so simple to obtain. Eldoria is protected by a series of trials, tests designed to determine if you're worthy of the relic's power. Trials? Alav echoed, his pulse quickening. What kind of trials? Zarnak smirked. Only the most daring will prevail. It tests your courage, intelligence, and integrity. Many have tried to claim the relic, but few have succeeded. If you plan to go, you'll need a ship, and you'll need to be prepared for the unexpected. Then we'll find a ship, Astral said with determination. How do we get to Eldoria? The only way to reach it is to gain access to the Stellar Guild, Zarnak explained, leaning back as he sipped his drink. They control the trade routes and have access to ships capable of interstellar travel, but you'll need a favor to get in their good graces. Great, Allah muttered under his breath, feeling the weight of the challenge ahead. What kind of favor? Zarnak's grin widened, revealing sharp teeth. A simple job. Retrieve an item for me from a rival dealer named Kylo. He operates from a hidden base on the outskirts of the station. Just remember, he's not the kind of guy who likes visitors. Astral exchanged a glance with Allah, her expression resolute. We'll do it. Just tell us what we need to find. Good choice, Zarnak replied, a hint of approval in his voice. Kylo deals in rare artifacts and has something I want. A relic of his own, one that's been stolen from me. Bring it back, and I'll set you up with the Stellar Guild. Allah felt a sense of purpose growing within him. This was the adventure he had craved, a chance to break free from the mundane and step into the unknown. Let's do it, he said, his voice steady. We'll get your item. Excellent. Zarnak leaned back, a satisfied smile on his face. You've got guts, human. But remember, Kylo won't take kindly to intruders. Be careful. As they exited the celestial den, Astral's hand found Allah's, squeezing it reassuringly. We can handle this. Together, we'll get the artifact and gain access to the Stellar Guild. Allah nodded, feeling a rush of adrenaline. I'm ready. Let's find Kylo. They navigated through the bustling streets, their path illuminated by the vibrant lights of the station. The atmosphere was electric, filled with anticipation for what lay ahead. The thought of facing challenges together ignited a fire within Allah, a sense of belonging and purpose he had never experienced before. Finally, they arrived at a nondescript building tucked away in a dark alley. The entrance was marked by a flickering light, and a heavy silence hung in the air. Astral glanced at Allah, her expression a mix of excitement and caution. Are you ready? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Allah took a deep breath, steeling himself for what lay ahead. Ready as I'll ever be. With a nod, they pushed the door open, stepping into the shadows of Kylo's domain. The air was thick with tension, and the faint sounds of conversation echoed from the back room. As they ventured further in, the stakes of their adventure became palpable. They were about to confront not just a rival dealer, but a challenge that could change the course of their journey. With determination in their hearts and a shared sense of purpose, Allah and Astral were ready to face whatever trials awaited them. The universe was vast and full of wonders, but together, they would navigate its complexities and discover the strength of their bond amid the chaos of the galaxy. Shadows and secrets. The dim interior of Kylo's establishment was a stark contrast to the lively energy of the Stardust Lounge. The air was thick with tension, and the low murmur of voices echoed off the walls, punctuated by the occasional clink of glasses. Ella and Astral exchanged glances, a shared understanding passing between them. They were entering a world where trust was a luxury and deception lurked in every shadow. As they moved deeper into the establishment, Ella's senses heightened. The flickering lights illuminated an eclectic assortment of alien patrons, each engaged in their own business dealings. A group of reptilian traders huddled around a table, examining a shimmering artifact that caught the light like a distant star. Nearby, a pair of shady-looking characters exchanged hushed whispers, their eyes darting around as if expecting someone to overhear them. "Keep your head on straight," Astral murmured, her hand subtly squeezing Ella's. "We need to blend in and gather information without drawing attention." "Got it," he replied, trying to mask the unease that bubbled beneath the surface. Together, they approached the bar, where a hulking bartender with scaly skin and an impressive array of tattoos wiped down the counter. "What'll it be?" the bartender growled, his voice a deep rumble. "A couple of drinks," Astral said smoothly, flashing a confident smile. "And maybe some information about Kylo." The bartender's gaze sharpened, studying them for a moment before nodding. "What do you want to know? But be warned, Kylo doesn't take kindly to nosy patrons." "We're not nosy, just curious," Ella interjected, trying to sound nonchalant. "We hear he's the go-to guy for rare artifacts." The bartender snorted, pouring 2 glowing drinks. "Curiosity killed the cat, friend. Kylo's a slippery one. He's always got eyes on him, and he doesn't like uninvited guests." "All the more reason for us to find him," Astral said, taking a sip of her drink and casting a casual glance around the room. "What's the best way to get his attention?" The bartender leaned in closer, lowering his voice. "You didn't hear this from me, but he's holding a secret auction in the back room tonight. Only a select few are invited. If you can get in, you might find what you're looking for." "An auction," Ella repeated, intrigued. "How do we get on the guest list?" "Not easy. Kylo only lets in those he trusts or those who can prove their worth," the bartender replied, his tone warning. "But if you're bold enough, you might try your luck at the entrance. Just be prepared for whatever comes next." Astral exchanged a determined glance with Ella. "We can handle this. Thanks for the tip." They took their drinks and made their way toward the back of the bar, where a heavy door stood slightly ajar, guarded by 2 burly enforcers. The atmosphere grew thick with anticipation, and the music faded into a low hum. Ella's heart raced as they approached, the reality of their situation dawning on him. "All right, stick to the plan," Astral whispered. "We're here for a purpose. Just act confident." As they neared the door, one of the guards eyed them warily. "You got an invite?" he barked, crossing his arms over his massive chest. "Absolutely," Astral said with unwavering confidence, flashing her most charming smile. "We're here to participate in Kylo's auction. He'll want to see us." The guard raised an eyebrow, skeptical but intrigued. "And what makes you so special?" Ella could feel Astral's confidence radiating, but he knew they needed more than charm to get through. "We come with connections and something valuable to trade," he added, trying to match her boldness. "We're not just any patrons. We're here to make a deal." The guard exchanged a glance with his partner, who shrugged slightly. "All right, but don't make us regret this." With a nod, the guard stepped aside, allowing them entry into the darkened back room. The atmosphere shifted dramatically as they stepped inside. Dim lighting cast shadows across the room, and the sound of quiet conversation buzzed in the air. Rows of eager bidders filled the space, their eyes glinting with anticipation. On a raised platform, Kylo himself stood, an imposing figure with an air of authority that commanded respect. He was a tall, slender alien with slicked-back silver hair and sharp features that hinted at a cunning intellect. As he gestured dramatically to the crowd, Ella felt a shiver run down his spine. "Welcome, esteemed guests, to tonight's exclusive auction," Kylo proclaimed, his voice smooth and charismatic. Prepare yourselves for rare artifacts that could change your fortunes and your lives. Astral leaned closer to Allah, her voice barely a whisper. This is our chance. We need to blend in and gather information while we search for the item Zarnak wants. Allah nodded, scanning the room for any signs of Kyla's prized possessions. The atmosphere crackled with tension as the auction began, and Kyla unveiled various rare items, ancient relics, exotic gadgets, and artifacts of unimaginable power. The first item brought a wave of excitement through the crowd, a glowing orb said to contain the consciousness of a long-forgotten alien civilization. Bidders eagerly raised their hands, voices filled with fervor as they outbid one another. Allah, we need to be careful, Astral cautioned, keeping her voice low. Kylo may have eyes and ears everywhere. We don't want to attract unnecessary attention. As the auction continued, Allah felt the weight of the atmosphere pressing down on him. He could sense the desperation and greed among the bidders, the lengths they would go to secure what they wanted. A mix of emotions flooded through him, excitement for the adventure ahead and concern for the potential dangers that lurked in the shadows. Suddenly, Kylo announced the next item, a rare blade said to possess mystical properties. The crowd erupted into a frenzy, and Allah felt a rush of adrenaline surge through him. This could be the moment they needed to make their move. Astral, look over there, he said, pointing discreetly to a display case in the corner. Inside, he spotted an ornate dagger that resembled the one Zarnak had described. Yes, that's it, the artifact we need. Astral exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with determination. But we have to get closer without being noticed. They maneuvered through the crowd, their hearts racing as they inched closer to the display case. Kylo continued to showcase his wares, drawing attention away from them. As they reached the case, Allah felt the weight of the moment. Let's just take a look, he said, glancing around to ensure no one was watching. We need to see if it's the right one. Astral nodded, her expression serious. Just be quick. As they examined the dagger, a sense of urgency filled the air. The ornate craftsmanship revealed intricate designs that hinted at its significance. Allah's fingers grazed the cool surface, and a jolt of energy coursed through him. Suddenly, a voice broke through the tension. What are you two doing? A sharp-eyed figure appeared beside them, a wiry alien with an intimidating presence. You're not supposed to be here. Allah's heart dropped. They had been caught. We were just admiring the artifact, Astral said quickly, her voice steady despite the unease creeping in. It's quite impressive. The alien narrowed his eyes, clearly unconvinced. Impressive or not, you don't belong here. Move along before I make you regret it. Allah felt the adrenaline surge through him. He couldn't let this opportunity slip away. Wait, he called out, desperation creeping into his voice. We're here to help Kylo with an important deal. We were just trying to learn more about this artifact. The alien paused, curiosity flickering in his eyes. Help Kylo? And what do you think he needs help with? He's looking to expand his collection, Astral chimed in, her voice smooth and persuasive. We have connections that could benefit him. But first, we wanted to understand what he's got. The alien regarded them for a moment, weighing their words. You'd better make this worth my time, he warned, stepping back slightly. Kylo doesn't tolerate failures. Allah and Astral exchanged a quick glance, silently agreeing that they needed to think fast. We know about an item Kylo's been after, Allah said, a spark of inspiration igniting within him. An ancient relic hidden on Eldoria. We could help him obtain it. The alien's interest piqued, and he leaned in closer. Eldoria, that's ambitious, but many have tried and failed. You really think you can pull it off? We're ready for the challenge, Astral said confidently, her gaze steady. With your support, we can prove our worth. The alien contemplated their words, then nodded slowly. All right. If you truly have the means to assist Kylo, you might just earn a place here. But remember, he's watching. Any misstep could lead to your downfall. Understood, Allah replied, feeling a mix of relief and determination. They had made it past the first hurdle, but now they needed to act fast. "Follow me," the alien said, leading them away from the display case. As they moved deeper into the room, Aula felt the weight of their mission pressing down on him. The stakes had risen, and failure was not an option. As they reached a private alcove, Kyla's voice resonated through the crowd, commanding attention. "Next up, we have an item that many have coveted, an artifact that promises great power to its possessor." Aula and Astral exchanged a knowing glance. They were now fully immersed in a world filled with shadows and secrets, navigating through deception and desire. The auction was just the beginning. Their journey had truly begun. As the crowd shifted and gasped at Kyla's latest reveal, Aula's heart pounded in his chest. They were in the eye of the storm, where adventure awaited at every turn. With Astral by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Together, they would uncover the mysteries of the artifact and find their place in this chaotic universe, one bold step at a time.